From Careco TV, one of the longest-running outdoor programs on television today. Exploring the country and the coast in search of adventures. From the mountains of the Great Northwest to the shores of the Atlantic Ocean. This is Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. This week on Americana Outdoors, we're bringing you exclusive coverage of the brand new Xero A1i Pro bow sight from Garmin. And later, we're joining Wade Middleton high up in a tree stand as he tests out the Garmin Xero X1i crossbow scope, equipped on top of a TenPoint Vapor RS 470. To kick things off, let's learn a little history on how Garmin has upgraded their unrivaled Xero bow sights over the years.
When it comes to technology, there's few companies that can rival what Garmin has done. And that's primarily what we're going to talk about right now, is what the Garmin Xero technology does. And when I say Xero technology, I'm lumping what's out there now for crossbows and what can be mounted on your compound bow all into one group. And to me, it's just a little bit short of incredibly miraculous how it works.
I've been around Garmin for a few years, actually just had my 8-year anniversary, so I've kind of got to see, at least from the sidelines and as part of the team, that product develop over time. And we've been lucky to have essentially the same core group of people that developed the software for the original bow sight, also helped develop the crossbow scope that we launched here late last year. And then we've slowly built all this knowledge and this information up over time. So fast forward 6 years, now we have the next generation of this bow sight coming out that was just iterations upon iterations of understanding how does this thing work. And then we really took that to the next step with the A1i Pro, where we started to make that technology even smarter.
As we look into the future of the new Garmin Xero sights, I mean, it literally is going to be tuned to your exact speed of your bow. So there's very little guessing in the setup process. You basically can get everything set in at 20, you tune it into what you're doing, the exact weight and speed that you're shooting for that particular arrow and that particular broadhead setup, and you begin to save that. And once you're dialed into that particular speed and have everything set up and saved, well, you can toggle and move back and forth between each one based on what you're shooting for that day. But what it doesn't do is control your nerves. You still got to practice. You still have to hit those anchor points, and those anchor points are very important. That sight's even telling you, and when you're practicing, that you're missing those points. You have to make sure your equipment is all tuned in, and you've got to be the guy in charge of that moment. And if you can control your emotions, you're gonna hit exactly where you're aiming.
To learn more about the Garmin Xero A1i Pro, visit Garmin.com. We're joining Brandon Brinkman out in the field for an early morning turkey hunt as he puts his Xero A1i Pro to use and gives us the first look at how this revolutionary sight performs under pressure. And he doesn't have to sit for long before a flock of Rios make their grand entrance.
Go down. Oh, arrow's in him. He's going. Drop. Yes! Drop. He's down. Yes! Oh my gosh, that played out exactly the way we talked it up last night. We looked at all the different spots we had to come this morning. We knew where the turkeys would be roosting. We kind of know where they're all along that creek over there. And they'd been catching a couple of them, every 3 out of 7 days a week, kind of just strolling right along this road to go to wherever they're wanting to hit. And man, it played out exactly the way, oh man, there goes my back, cramping up. Exactly the way the guys played it out. Like, the hens all came through. There was probably 15 or 20 of them. My heart was just like pounding, just trying not to move. But then he came through, and I just like could see a bright red head just out of the corner of my left eye, and he just came through perfect. I think he came through my Garmin Xero, showing right at 13 yards right now is where I shot him at. And man, that was, oh, what a rush. Like, my heart is still pounding. My whole back is cramping up. Like, man, what a freaking rush. That thing's got a big old beard on him. I think it's probably like a 14-inch beard on him. That's going to be awesome. Whew. Holy cow. I cannot wait to go find this thing. All right, so I just came over and was able to pick up my bird. He actually veered off towards us and ended up right around 13 yards, which I was able to pull up with the bow sight there. I was able to get drawn on him and took the range with the Xero and put it right on him. And I'm really, really happy with the shot placement here. I spent a lot of time practicing before he came out. Got a couple 3D decoy set up in the backyard. So I've been trying to shoot a little bit every day and just really think through different positionings, and it paid off today. So what a great experience this was. It's a beautiful bird.
Congrats, Brandon. That shot couldn't have been more perfect thanks to the deadly accuracy of the Garmin Xero A1i Pro. When we come back, we'll see how easy it is to navigate through the Xero A1i Pro's menu for a seamless setup.
Trade hours for seconds.
There's no feeling like it. When you've prepped the gear, done the research, found the spot, nailed the presentation, and now there's only one thing left to do. Keep fishing. So gear up with all the best fishing gear. Only at Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Shop in-store or online.
Sometimes the world can seem a cold place, so we gotta bring the warmth to it. Sometimes the world can seem a dark place, so we gotta become the light in it. Sometimes the world can seem a broken place, so we gotta strive to fix it. We prepare for the worst, but we must always, always expect the best.
Welcome back to Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Now that we've had a chance to see the new Garmin Xero A1i Pro in action, Brandon has done a total reset of the site to show us just how simple it is to calibrate the latest generation of the Garmin Xero bow sights.
So the very first step in this new setup process is to get that 20-yard pin set. So we're gonna go and start that process. There's been a lot of UI changes or UI improvements. So here's some of those graphical displays of what we call the reticle. So if you're off of that reticle a little bit, really all you need to do is make those pitch and yaw adjustments to move that reticle into piece. But the sight itself is gonna walk us through each one of those pieces step by step. And there's a nice graphical display of it. So here our grouping's hitting a little bit low, and we're prompted in the sight itself is, did the arrow hit the bullseye? So we're gonna say no. And now it's actually giving us specific knobs to turn. So because we're in this initial setup, we're just gonna be, this first part of the setup, it's just moving the up and down and left and right. So it's asking us to adjust the up and down. So because we're low, we actually need to chase that arrow and drop our sight down just slightly. So here with the micro adjust, I can just kind of roll through and drop that down just a little bit. So again, it kind of stepped me through exactly telling me, which knob to turn there. So it gave me, specifically this top knob and told me kind of to chase that arrow and drop the sight down. So now I'm at the point where I need to set back to that 20 yards and see if we come back up to where we need to be. All right, so that one hit dead center. So we're gonna go ahead and tell it that we hit the bullseye there. So at this point, we've got at least the standard left and right and up and down complete because we've set that 20-yard pin. To do the reticle alignment, we're gonna use what we call the pitch and the yaw. So there's gonna be two curved adjustments that we need to make here. One where we move the housing itself on a curved axis this way, and another one here where we actually pivot this way left and right. So to do that, it's actually projecting the reticle there in the housing itself. I'm gonna go ahead and knock an arrow and draw back and see where I'm at in the reticle. So again, that reticle is essentially a big circle out in space with a bunch of arrows pointing at it. All those arrows are little tools letting me know what direction I need to make this next movement to get that pin, the red pin, directly in the middle of that circle. All right, whatever adjustment we made there is perfect. I'm gonna let down. All right. So again here, I can show you some screenshots that I've been discussing that really just help make that overall setup more easy. So here it's calling out the specific kind of angled left and right and up and down knobs that you need to adjust to get that reticle aligned. As we just walked through, we went through and the reticle is aligned after that one adjustment. So now we're gonna stand back to about 20 yards, this is where we're at. So since we did make one small adjustment there, we just want to make sure that we're still on at 20. There we go. So our adjustment on that last one was so small that we don't really need to go back and make anything else adjust there because our reticle's aligned and we confirm that that 20-yard pin is still on. So now we've got our 20-yard range set up. So we're actually going to go through and just use the bow speed. I've shot it through the chrono a few times this past month or so, so I know it's shooting, right around that 280 mark. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in there. So it's prompting me for what's my arrow diameter. So if you're shooting skinnier arrows, I've got a standard diameter arrow here. All right, so now that I've gone through and I've entered in that bow speed, it's gonna have me back up to 40 yards to validate that the calculated pin stack is accurate.
After firing off that final arrow, Brandon was able to confirm that the calculated pin stack was accurate, and his Xero A1i Pro was ready to go. The latest generation of the Garmin Xero is once again changing the way avid archery hunters can hit the fields and remove any doubt when they put that reticle on their target. To get your hands on the Garmin Xero A1i Pro, head on over to Garmin.com. Coming up, we're heading over to Central Texas, where Wade Middleton will be setting up in a tree stand to test out the Garmin Xero X1i with a TenPoint Vapor RS 470 crossbow.
Shorter, faster, never felt better. At 26.5 inches long and 440 feet per second, the Havoc RS 440 is the fastest, most comfortable compact crossbow ever. Available with the all-new Garmin Xero range-finding scope. Exact aim, any distance. Range, aim, and deliver at 440 feet per second. The all-new Havoc RS 440 and Havoc RS 440 Xero from TenPoint.
Welcome back to Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. It's the beginning of hunting season, and we're being treated to typical warm Texas weather. Let's listen in as Wade gives us the rundown of what he's expecting to see out in the field.
We're dealing with, temperatures in the 80s, probably low 80s right now, wind out of the southeast at 15, maybe gusting to 20. And based on years of experience, we know that the deer are bedding up along these ridges and high places in and around these live oaks, cool areas. And in this case, we're gonna climb way up in a tree. I mean, we're really high in this tree, 22, 23 feet up. And we're just hoping that at the end of the day, when those shadows get long enough and it's cool enough, that the right deer will get up and move through that area. Now, I'm hunting with a crossbow, so I gotta get them out there in a pretty good close-up area. The crossbow I'm hunting with is a TenPoint Vapor with a Garmin Xero scope on there that we're learning about all the nuances to it. What we know is it's very dynamic, it's very easy to use, and it's deadly accurate. I mean, you've got a menu-driven system that allows you to set it up to whatever bow speed that you're shooting, whether you're shooting a slow one or fast one. You've got some mechanical adjustments on there to make it easy for you. And the data screen that's available there and what it tells you and how to assist you in hunting, I mean, it makes you it puts you in a position to really have an ethical, clean harvest every time you pull the trigger. Just a matter of sitting here watching and waiting. That's all you can do. Wait for the deer. Sometimes they show, sometimes they don't. Wait till it gets his leg forward. Smoked him. Perfect shot right there. I mean, absolutely perfect. That buck kind of came sliding in. We had 2 or 3 other bucks that had came out here around us, and that was a buck that we had on camera that we knew we really liked. He's got really cool brow tines that kind of grow together, dark antlers. I love those darker antlers like that. And we had 2 or 3 other deer out here feeding, and he came in and pushed him off totally. He's dominant. We passed on a young 9-point that was a phenomenal big frame deer that we really liked for the future. But that deer there, as soon as I saw him coming through the brush, I was like, Kevin, that's shooter right there all day long. He kind of milled around. And I didn't shoot him after I first ranged him because you could see his leg was back. And this will blow right through that. But when they're calm like that and they're feeding, you think you've got a time, let them get that leg forward and open up. It just gives you so much more vitals. And I mean, our blood's just pouring out of that deer as he's running off. I mean, he's going to be dead right over there by that pond. So that was awesome right there. I mean, you know, we're shooting that TenPoint Vapor right here, the RS 470 with the Garmin Xero crossbow sight. You talk about fun to shoot with. I mean, it ranges everything. It'll lock the target, gives you I mean, you're just perfect every time. There's so many features built into this that you can adjust, but I mean, blood pouring out of that deer right there. Filling the freezer, putting another one in the man cave. That was cool right there.
As Wade stays in the tree stand to give this buck his due time, let's take a moment to hear these messages from our sponsors.
To me, the Performance Center by Smith & Wesson means taking the best and making it better. Regardless if I'm passing on the traditions of hunting or teaching someone new about the outdoors, I know that using a Performance Center handgun will be something they will remember for the rest of their lives. Every model comes with an awesome trigger. They're reliable in all the conditions, as well as offering a variety of sight and scope mounting capabilities. The Performance Center by Smith & Wesson. Performance when it matters most.
God made a deer farmer, a person who stays up at night to save a sick fawn's life, gets up and still goes to work at sunrise. This person works in the heat, the cold, and the rain. He needs to feed his animals, make sure they have water. If the water's frozen, he must break it so they can drink. He needed somebody to collect real scents and smells from deer, to provide hunting scents to the hunters so they could feed their families. So, God made a deer farmer.
Welcome back to Americana Outdoors, presented by Garmin. Now, before we went to break, Wade had just let an arrow fly on a mature 8-point buck. Now that he's sat back in the tree stand for a while, it's time to start tracking.
Well, that drove it all the way through. I mean, that is a brutally... I mean, we know the end results of this one just based on watching what happened. Totally went through, blood all the way through. I mean, you can see the blood coming out of the deer when he was running out there. We spent about 20 minutes getting everything out. Down out of there, I've already gone and got the Wolverine. We're gonna walk up and recover this deer. I mean, he should not be very far up there, I wouldn't think. He was on a dead run through here. I saw him, he was running towards this pond. This one should have blood up here. There he is right there. There he is right there. He didn't go too far. I didn't think there'd be much there. Way that deer could go too far at all. Golly, that's so awesome. That never gets old. That was another perfect shot through that deer. I mean, it just, golly. I mean, that's where you want to take them out. You know, we were sitting up there in that stand. We had a few does and a couple spikes, a 3-point come through, another little young 8-point, you know, and it just was a perfect evening. And I saw this guy here kind of come down that trail through the edge of the brush, and he kind of came in and pushed everybody out. He's your classic Texas hill country deer. Really cool brow tines right there, how tall those are, and they kind of come in together. So, I mean, that is a fantastic testament to field testing 101 right there. Getting out in the field, trying this new Garmin Xero Crossbow scope and all the features on it and showing you everything that it does. We've got it rigged on the Vapor right here from TenPoint, and this is a combination that it is the best combination you possibly could find if you were a crossbow hunter. There is no question in my mind. I've crossbow hunted for over 15 years now, and I've never seen a combination with this much energy, this much speed, this much accuracy, and you tap all that into the precision shooting you can do with this to know exactly where you're aiming every time. You have a Garmin TenPoint combination that is going to be lights out, no matter what you're shooting at.
Congratulations, Wade. We always love seeing a happy ending, and this perfect shot placement was no exception. Now, before we wrap up this show, Wade has a few more closing thoughts on the Garmin Xero X1i.
The comfort and confidence level in using something like this Garmin Xero crossbow sight it's amazing. Once you practice with it and you get out and you know, you hear this, well, same hole accuracy type stuff, and you bet you can do same hole accuracy with a traditional sight out there. It happens, I've done it, but I can do it a whole lot more with this. I mean, it just gives me a constant aiming point every time. There's no guess. I'm not trying to find fine lines in my crossbow sight that, you know, or that can be confusing. My aiming point is perfect every time, and the distance to the target is guaranteed.
For more information about the Garmin Xero X1i, head on over to Garmin.com. Hey, thank you for watching, and join us next week on a new episode of Americana Outdoors. Americana Outdoors is a Careco TV production. This episode was made possible by these partners:
Introducing the Exude line of long-distance illuminators, built to outperform typical illuminators with our multi-lens focus adjustable technology. Project a perfectly sharp column of light visible at great distances, gaining a higher level of illumination precision. Exude technology uses pure white natural light, preventing animals from flaring when spotted. Perfect for predator hunting. We offer 3 different Exude models, the OD25, the OD40, and the OD50. Illuminate the night like never before with the Exude light.
Feeding doesn't get any easier. Record Rack has a full line of products to help you attract and grow a bigger class of big game animals. All Record Rack products are engineered with the right nutrition to fit your specific need. Whether you're a wildlife watcher looking to see more deer on your land or an avid sportsman looking to bring in a trophy, Record Rack has the right feed to meet your goals. Learn more at recordrack.com. Record Rack, serious nutrition.
Meet Spintech's sturdiest stand and fill feeder, built on skids to allow for easy transportation. This feeder is perfect for the hunter looking for a convenient stand and fill feeder that has a welded cage system to protect it from hogs, cattle, and other animals. It's also equipped with Spintech's patented spinner unit that locks and seals in corn. Stand and fill up to 700 pounds of corn with ease. Learn more at spintechspreaders.com.
From sunup to sundown, day in and day out, we work hard. We play hard. And to keep us going during those long hours, we demand performance. Angle Coolers, the original high-performance cooler.
Introducing the Hawk series of box blinds, the ultimate box blinds for serious hunters. Insulated steel panels provide unmatched thermal, scent, and noise control. One-hand operable silent windows are designed for archers as well as gun hunters, while a roto-molded roof and window frames keep rain and snow out of the blind. Hawk blinds have the features serious hunters demand and are backed by a limited lifetime warranty, so your investment will last in the field for years to come. All new box blinds by Hawk.